This is today, January 24th, 2023, and I am here to answer questions all about the Island Innovation Ambassador Program. I cannot say enough good things about this program. I'll just introduce myself first. My name is Stacey Alvarez de la Campa. I am the Community Manager and the Ambassador Program Coordinator for Island Innovation. So this is what I absolutely love doing. I love getting to know you all more. I love talking about the program, answering any questions you might have, and just giving you a general overview of what to expect this year, because we have some surprises in store. So for those of you who have been ambassadors and are part of the community already, there's going to be some fun stuff to experience that is new compared to last year. And for those of you who may not know the program as well, let me just tell you a little bit about the program. So the Island Ambassador Program is essentially, it's a series of workshops, of training sessions, and also some curated networking opportunities during which you, the participants, get to share and explore not just issues that us in island communities face, but also solutions to these issues. And this is one of the things that I think is the best things about the program. It's very solutions oriented and it's very collaborative. So some of these solutions have to do with issues that are first and foremost to do with sustainability. We focus a lot on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which have to do with things like equal access to education. They have to do with things like recycling, waste management, conservation efforts, the blue economy, climate change, climate justice. These are some of the things that we're going to cover in the course of the Ambassador Program. So you get to learn about these things. You get to meet with other people from islands all over the world. So this is another great thing. It's a great way to forge friendships. You get to meet people and talk about solutions and share solutions. And then this is a way that you can spark your own thinking and, spark some change in your community. So that's some of the most important things. I want to say to those of you who have already applied, I have received your applications. You're going to be receiving some official communication in the course of this week about the status of your applications. One of the things I love to do, because this is the way I get to know you before I actually meet you in the program, I personally look through all of the applications and get to know you. So you can see on the screen, you should see a link where you can apply. So if you haven't applied yet, I invite you to do so. And I'm going to start to cover now some of the questions that are asked about the Island Innovation Ambassador Program. Okay, so the first question that I always get asked is who can be an ambassador? And that's some of the questions that I've been getting emails about. And I want to say there is no age limit to being an ambassador. The one thing that's very important is that you have some kind of island connection. And it's good that you live on an island. You do not necessarily have to be currently living on an island. You could be part of what I call the diaspora. You may have been born on an island and you've moved somewhere else, but you obviously still have that island connection where you're familiar with some of the issues that are so common in island communities. It might be that you're working on a particular issue to do with sustainability that has a lot of relevance in any island community. So if you're looking at things to do with waste management, for example, that's something that's really an issue that is topical for many island communities. That's a very relevant issue, and I would say that does entitle you to become an ambassador. It does help to have some island connection, though, where you are also willing to explore solutions that would be primarily targeted towards island. I'm seeing some people I have to say hi to. I see Farah Theodore in the chat. Hi, Farah. I see Cheryl Webster. She's excited for the 2023 program. These are all previous ambassadors, and I feel as if everyone in the program is a great friend of mine. I have a message from Shivam who's saying this is a very interesting program, and especially with the focus on sustainability, exactly, which is something that we can't ignore. It's become more and more topical, and sustainability is a way that we can forge a future, not just for ourselves, but obviously for coming generations. So that's the question, who can be an island ambassador? So you have to have an island connection. Primarily, it's great if you live on an island or are from an island. And that's one of the ways that you can really care about what's happening in island communities and be ready to help communities that live in islands. So that's the first question. Okay, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to place them in the chat on social media. I can see them all coming through, so I'll be sure to address them if I don't already do that. I'm seeing some love and some hearts coming through, so thanks very much. I love it. Okay, so the next question is, what is the Island Innovation Ambassador Program? So I like to think of it as a kind of a journey. It's a journey as you're exploring different types of topics, and it's a journey that is comprised of different workshops, different training sessions, and different, as I said, it's curated networking opportunities. So we look for ways that you can get together with not just people who are like-minded, but who are also tackling similar issues, whichever, from whichever island community they're from in the world. So some of these training sessions that we cover, that I plan to cover this year coming up, you'll have a kind of onboarding or an orientation session early on, and the training sessions or meetups are usually once a month. When we come to our big flagship event, as I call it, the Virtual Island Summit, there'll be much more activity for you as an ambassador, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. And I'll make a note to myself, just mention what is VIS. But one of the first things we do, we talk to you a little bit about what is island innovation exactly. We're a social enterprise. We help to bring people together to tackle sustainability issues. But what is island innovation? So we'll explore that. I'll also talk a little bit about how can you make the most from this program. And those of you who have been ambassadors before and are coming back to be ambassadors, like this third time, the fourth time, that's another question answered right there. You can keep reapplying to the ambassador program as many times as you wish once you get through. We feel as if it's a way to really grow organically the connections you have. So that's the first thing that we're going to look at is what is island innovation and do some onboarding and some orientation for you. Then we start to look at the concept of sustainable development in islands and as they're relevant to an island in an island context. Okay, so we'll look at sustainability. You'll get training sessions in things like what are the resources that you can use to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals? United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are kind of a set of principles and a set of core topics that we can see they all connect to one another, and addressing them will really help to create a future for not just island communities, but for everyone all over the world. As I mentioned, these are things like the bioeconomy, equal access to education, a circular economy, recycling, agriculture, food security. Those are amongst some of the things that we'll look at in this program. We'll talk about climate finance and conservation. We're going to talk about climate justice. So again, these are just some of the things, some of the training sessions, and these training sessions will run from February. The program starts in February and then goes on to December. Okay, so I see people are tuning in. That is awesome. And I'm really glad to have you here. So that's what the Island Innovation Program is. Okay, so where? I'm going to cover all of the fundamental questions: who, what, where, how, and when. So where is the Island Innovation Ambassador Program? It is all virtual, except for when we have our Virtual Island Summit in September into October. We encourage ambassadors to create what we refer to as local events or local hubs, where it's kind of affiliated with the Virtual Island Summit, which is primarily online, but we are looking to have some more in-person events this year. And we're looking to see how can you as an ambassador create a local event that's going to raise awareness about not just, as I said, not just the issues that you're facing, but the solutions, and create a better audience and help your community. So some of the people on this call who I see, I said hi to Farah and Cheryl, they hosted their own local events where they brought together members of their community. I know one event was on food and water security. So these people who held the local events, they contacted some local experts, they had some panel discussions. We have a very active cadre of ambassadors from St. Lucia, and they held a great local event where the topic of sustainable and regenerative tourism was discussed. So that's kind of what the program is about. And we really want to encourage you to be a part of this program, because one of the benefits is precisely that you draw attention, you get expert knowledge that can focus on solving issues and bringing people together. So that's a little bit about where the program is. As I said, it's virtual. All of the training sessions are going to be online, so you should have access to all of them. And then these sessions are also going to be recorded, because one of the things that we have an ambassador resources page, like a website that's specially for the ambassadors. It's password protected, and all of the recordings for or sessions or training sessions are there. So you have that kind of knowledge bank for you. Okay, so I'm going to stop a minute. I see, when is it estimated the applicants are going to be notified? So I am going to be begin sending out communications this week, because I know some people have applied since, oh my goodness, December. So I know that for a month you've been waiting to hear, and I want to get you out of your suspense. Okay, the deadline, though, very important to note, the deadline is January 31st. So there's just about a week left to go. And I see Jan, I see you said you're interested in signing up. Fantastic. So you should see the link there. I will ask or host and my fantastic colleague, Christian, to put up there on the screen. Great. So you should see there where you can apply. And please feel free to apply. I will look out for your applications, because that's what I'm going to do after this live stream. I'm going to go right to the responses and double check how many people have signed up. So please do. So this week I will begin the process. Katie, that's the question you're asking. I'll begin the process of sending out the notifications for whether you've been accepted. Okay. So that's a question from the audience. I'm going to go back to I think I covered when already. I think I already covered that the program is from February to December, and that the deadline is January 31st. So that's something there. So I mentioned to some of the topics that are going to be covered, and I wanted to let you know that of those topics, we kind of have them broken into categories. So the program has a definitive structure. We all put a lot of work into the structure. A lot of this structure, we were very open to the suggestions from last year, because I really know that this program has to be tailored as far as we can to what your wants and your needs, but also a way for you to gain knowledge and empower yourselves and your communities. So the program is structured into training sessions where you're actually listening, you're learning, you can ask questions. We'll have experts in things like, as I mentioned, blue economy. There'll be experts to do with climate finance, to do with climate justice, to do with conservation. And those experts will come, and I'll let you know, there are ways in which there's a kind of calendar. I will send out a weekly ambassador update, which I started when I started my role here as ambassador coordinator, where I'll let you know what's happening. And I know that communication is something that you have requested, that we try to make it as open as possible and make sure that everyone knows what's going on. So in terms of communication, that's a good question. What are the communication platforms? What kind of tools do we like to use to communicate? So there's email, where I send out a weekly ambassador update. You can always reach out to me. My email address is stacey@islandinnovation.co. I see people saying they've signed up. Yay, that's fantastic. Keep signing up, please do. I look forward to checking your application. So there's email, as I said. You can reach out to me. You have an ambassador update that comes through. We have a Slack channel. We have a platform called Slack, which is a great way to interact. And it's, you can see that is broken down into topics. So that's a form of curated networking there, where you can see who is interested in the various topics you might be. For example, I'm going to actually check Slack right now and check to see some of the channels that we have on Slack. We have things like arts and culture. We have island news. So if there's something happening on your island, you can post it in an article or something in the Slack channel. And have things like youth advocacy. So this is a good way to check and see. I will say that for Slack to work for you, you do have to be engaged. You have to be quite proactive. You have to be able to access it and make sure that you reach out and nurture the connections that are there. Okay. I will say too that we are looking at bringing back WhatsApp, because I know that WhatsApp has been a really important tool for some people who may not have some of the resources to join from a laptop, or necessarily always join in a way that is engaging. So I want to make sure that we can use WhatsApp for everyone to highlight their efforts, and that I can keep in touch with everyone. Oh, I see a really nice comment there in the chat. Being an ambassador is a wonderful experience and helps one grow from the inside out while expanding their view of the world and making awesome connections. Thank you, Farah. That is one of the most wonderful testimonials, I think, that we can share. And this is, Farah was an ambassador last year, and I'm not sure if you were there the year before. Farah is one of our ambassadors who held an incredible local event in Dominica. And I think she's a living example of, you really do get a lot out of the program, and I really make an effort to connect with you. And that's another question that we can ask. How can we mentioned communication. So there's Slack, there's WhatsApp, there's email, but there are also virtual office hours. So what I try to do as the ambassador coordinator, I try to be here for you, and I set up a virtual space on Google Meet. I'll see if there's anything I can do via WhatsApp. I have to check that. But I set up a virtual space on Google Meet. I share it on all the channels, on WhatsApp, on Slack, my email, where you can drop in. So I'm just online for usually, I'm trying to have time zones, try to do it during multiple time zones so that as many people who need to drop by and chat can come. So it's just a way you can drop in, you can come and just ask me any questions, come and just have a chat, tell me some of the activities you're up to, tell me some of the projects you're working on. And often what I will do, in fact, all of the time what I will do is I will put that in our ambassador update so other ambassadors, when I send out the ambassador update to all of you, right now we have over 400 applications and I would love to see more. I will send out this update to all of you. So this is a way that you can keep track of what everyone else is doing, but also a way that you can raise awareness, as I said, about what's happening and your particular community. Because one of the things we want to do as well during the ambassador program is hone your leadership skills, because I believe there's a leader in everyone. And I think that's one of the great things I see, that the program, you have a chance to reach out to each other, gain a sense of confidence, and know that you're never alone when it comes to tackling communities, tackling some of the issues in your community. Okay, I see someone else saying hi, Human. I'm getting lots of hellos and hi's from our community, and this really makes me happy to see. So let me see. I know that one of the questions or potential issue for some of the participants is a language barrier. And I have gotten a request to sometimes send out some translations of the communiques as far as I can. So I want the person who contacted me by email to know that is something I've raised for my team, my incredible colleagues, and I'm going to be working on doing that, because I know that, again, a language barrier can be challenging, and it will prevent you sometimes from enjoying the program as much as you can. So please know that I'm here for you in that regard and in that respect as well. So I did promise to tell you a bit more about the Virtual Island Summit, and that is our flagship event. It happens every single year. It's usually in September into October. I'm going to look now and see if I can just make sure that I can get the correct dates for you. So the Virtual Island Summit, this is an event that spans a week. And what we do is we bring together panel discussions about all of the sustainability topics that we think are, crucial for island communities. I know that, just as an example, last year we had panel discussions ranging from the Monday into the Sunday, where we talked again. One of the more interesting ones and some of the better attended ones had to do with food security and agriculture, had to do with transport, inter-island transport, interregional transport. That was a really interesting session. We really got a lot of engagement. We had a session that highlighted youth voices and youth advocacy, as well as Indigenous voices from islands. And we also had an excellent climate finance session. We have another huge event coming up called the Island Finance Forum. It's happening in April. That's over 2 days. And I'm going to see if I can just get the dates of both of those things for you on my computer. Okay, and in the meantime, though, I'm going to just let you know as well that one of the great things about being an island ambassador is how you can participate in these events. So it's a way for us to make our voices heard as ambassadors. If you have any areas of expertise or any knowledge or anything you want discussed with participants in the panel discussions during the Virtual Island Summit and the Island Finance Forum, this is kind of your way to do it. So thanks so much. We have up on the screen, the Island Finance Forum is from the 18th to the 19th of April this year. And there we'll be bringing together not just experts, but experts from different areas. So you have a chance to interact with a huge variety of people, from citizen scientists to NGO leaders, to Indigenous leaders, to ministers in government, to people from academia, because the whole point is that if we're going to find solutions together, we have to come together and discuss those solutions. So again, one of the benefits of the program, the chance to kind of break down those barriers and break down some of the silos that separate us from each other. Okay, So yes, I want to see if anyone has any other questions. So far, that is what I will say about the program. I will also say, I did mention that we have some surprises in store. Those of you who are ambassadors already, we found a way to try to see how we can recognize you even more for the work that you're doing or the work that you've done. So that's a surprise. So if you haven't signed up for the program already, this is a chance to sign up and get to see how are we going to recognize you and highlight your efforts as much as we can and reward those efforts. So thank you so much for joining me. I don't see any more questions coming through. I've covered all of the questions that I wanted to. You can always email me, please apply. We have the application link up again there on the screen. And as I said, please apply. I'm going to be looking out for these applications from this live stream. And you can reach me, as I mentioned, via email. And I really want to encourage you to reach out and become a part of this amazing program. You can see that we have ambassadors who have really gained a lot. And I think, again, a fantastic thing about the program is that once you're there and you reapply, you'll see more and more benefits you can gain. I see, Jillian, you mentioned you're waiting a response regarding the application. I'd mentioned earlier in the live stream that I've started responding, and by the end of this week, most people, if not everyone, should know what the status of their application is. The deadline is January 31st. So obviously, I'll still be reaching out to people after the deadline, but I have begun to delve through the application. So you will definitely hear from me. And Jillian, if you have any questions other than that, if you don't hear from me pretty soon, I'm actually going to make a note to reach out to you. You can reach out to me via email. Okay, so please do visit our website for more information about our events. You'll see everything about the Virtual Island Summit. You'll see some of the topics that we covered, and you'll see recordings of the sessions. So that's something to bear in mind, that Island Innovation, not just as an ambassador, but when you visit our website, it's a wonderful knowledge resource. It's a wonderful way for you to gain knowledge and just more information about all of the topics that we are concerned about as islanders. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I really had a fantastic time interacting with everyone. As I said, I'm Stacey Alvarez de la Campa, the Community Manager and Ambassador Program Coordinator. I'm going to be looking out for your applications. Any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And it was wonderful to be here with you all today. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope to see you in the program soon. Okay, take care. Thanks so much, everyone.